Hi, my name's Clint at Rusty Surfboards, and this is our new summer groveler for 2018, the Dwart 2. It's got the same high volume that we know and love, the original Dwart, but much more aggressive rails. We've taken some volume out of the top part of the rail here and pushed it more towards the middle of the board to give it a lower apex rail, much more aggressive. Kept the extra width up front, real low rocker to satisfy all the soft, gutless days we have in summer. A subtle single to a more pronounced double concave through the fins makes the Dwart a little bit more aggressive and quicker rail to rail. Touch more tail rocker off the tail gets this thing much more lively than the original Dwart, but still through the rest of the board is much lower rocker, so it gets you through all the flats. We took away the wings and gave it a nice squash tail, increased the surface area, and just a great well-rounded board for really soft, mushy waves up to head high plus. I've seen guys ride this in bigger surf, but you know, there's always a better tool for that job. For here, I suggest keep the Dwart head high or lower. You're gonna be having a blast. This Dwart 2 is made in our torsion spring technology. It's a waterproof foam, closed cell, extruded, that does not take any water. When we were testing this foam, I was taking chunks of raw foam and submerging it in water for a month in a capped cup, and it would not gain a gram of weight. So great board to take on a trip, but the tape we have on the rail is a carbon and Kevlar combination that is great to hold the structure through the middle of the board around the rails, and it rolls up to a flat patch on the deck. This allows the whole board to flex torsionally, so everything that loads up through your bottom turn or any roundhouse gets loaded up to a flexi tail, almost like a gas pedal underneath your back foot. The great thing about the extruded closed cell foam is you do not get any of that weird chattery wind chop stuff you get from an ultralight EPS blank. The reason why we designed this foam is to give it a little bit lighter feel than poly, but more drive than EPS. It's a great in-between between traditional poly foam and the hyperlight EPS. So getting the best of both worlds. It's all I ride in all my shortboards. Until I get to my step-ups, this is the construction I use. The torsion spring Dwart 2.
Hi, I'm Dan Boehne with Infinity Surfboards, and we're going to talk about the Rainmaker. This little guy is probably the best grovel board in our line. It's the flattest rocker, sort of widest board that we do. It has a little bit of a look of a retro fish, but it's more of a performance fish. The Rainmaker is the flattest board in our performance shortboard line. It works best in sort of summertime point break surf. People like it in mushy surf, and we have some guys that use them in contests and when you get the gutless surf. Most of the boards that I do, I just have single concaves through the bottom of them. This one's a single concave that goes into a V blended through a double concave. It's kind of a really neat smooth bottom. It gives really smooth transitions. We have different fin setups that we do, and so this is just a 5-fin setup. You can ride it as a quad or a thruster, and then the ones I ride personally have glassed-in twin fins with a trailer. So these are good all the way around. A lot of people like these really specifically for summer and kind of point break type of surf.
This is a Rocket Wide. The Rocket Wide was developed with Dan Godowskis and the Godowskis brothers and Mike Andrews, legend, one of our great shapers at Channel Island Surfboards. And you might remember the Rocket 9. The Rocket 9 was a board that was developed with a lot of area forward for speed and flow, get up and go, but then a really pulled in tail for precision surfing. So think about the Godowskis brothers. Those guys are so fast, but then they love super tight snaps in the hook and all that stuff. So that board really allowed for that. But then there came a time where they wanted to kind of widen things up to get a different feel from it and sort of open up what the board could do. So they widened the tail, hence Rocket Wide. They widened the nose on it, and this is now like just a small wave terror. This is the board that you want when you show up and the waves are kind of weak and you're like, I need an excuse to get out there. The Rocket Wide is your excuse. This board is always going to be fast. This board is going to fly down the line and be super quick in the turns and transitions and just open up your surfing in lesser waves again and get you amped. So as I said, it's got a wide curvy outline. You ride this board shorter and wider than your normal shortboard. It's like a step down. It carries like the thickness through the board pretty well, but nowhere is it piggy, but it's just got a great flow out the back and in the front, so there's sort of plenty of beef in it for catching waves and for groveling in small waves. It's got a really beautiful sort of continuous curved rocker, fair amount of entry rocker, but low, long, straight, fast engine right here, single concave with a little bit of double right here, with a little bit of V out the tail. And the board just flies. This one is a spine tech. This is our new technology that we've been working on with the spine down the middle. This is EPS blank with epoxy glass. And this combination just allows for super great flex characteristics. The board really loads up and then springs, so you have stored energy and then released energy. This is an X evolution allowing us to harvest and maximize the benefits of flex on the spine tech, and it goes great with this board. So this is your excuse to get out when the waves are lesser than. It's going to feel great under your arm. It's going to feel even better in the water.
This is the UTF, and this is our version of the Fish. This is our #1 selling board last year, which is kind of interesting. Maybe that was having to do with the waves last year, but it's something that fits in everybody's quiver. It's another one of these, like, you could surf this almost every day, 28 out of 30 days in the month, depending on if you live in Southern California, if you live on the East Coast, you know, you could surf this thing almost every day. A little bit more pulled in the nose than maybe some of the stubbier style of fish, and really focus a lot on foil, like how the board is foiled, foam distribution. There's plenty of paddle power up here, and it's got like a nice little beak nose, and then the tail's nice and kind of refined and foiled. And so it has a really kind of sleek profile for a board that's really foam friendly and that paddles really well and it's super fast, but it's got a little bit more of a refined profile. It's got kind of some modern elements to it too. So there's some flat entry, a little bit of single to double concave, a little bit of V through here. We do a lot of these as twins, do a lot of them as quads. Twins probably the most popular. Obviously, like the glass-ons look really nice. This is our favorite template for this board. It's the True Aim's Tyler Warren mod keel. For me, for reference, I'm 6'2", about 185, and if I ride like a 6'1", 6'2" shortboard, in a Fish I'll ride anything from 5'5" to 5'8". A lot of the boards you see that we do all look different. We don't have very many stock designs, so a lot of our boards are one-offs, and they all look unique. And we do a lot of resin color work like these, which is resin abstract. But yeah, that's the fun of a custom board, is you can make it any way you want. Some people will take from things that we've done in the past and kind of like make their own version, or we'll drop something completely new. Or some people will just say, go for it. Like, I don't want pink, or I don't want this, but just feel free to have free reign and go for it. And so we do, that's half the fun, I think, is being able to have the freedom of expression and do whatever you want to do and make it look however you want to make it look.